Hey there! Welcome to Jackie Talks Horror. I'm Jackie, and today I'm excited to be doing a spoiler-free review of a film I originally skipped when it first came out because of its mixed reviews. Recently though, I've seen people talking about it much more positively, so I decided to finally give it a watch. And that is Presence, which was released back in January this year. Just a heads up that I'll be using images and trailers from the film in this video, and there will be links to any trailers and articles I use in the description down below. This film surprised me when I watched it in the best possible way. So first, let's take a look at the cast and the characters that are central to the film's story. The film focuses on the central family. Rebecca, played by Lucy Liu. Rebecca is the mother of the family and definitely runs the house. I didn't feel she was a likeable character. She didn't seem to be able to connect with Chloe, her daughter, at all, and barely puts a laptop away throughout the film. Liu is really good at getting the dynamic right between her, Rebecca, and the others in the family. Cold when she's interacting with one, and warm when she's interacting with another, which adds weight to the fractured nature of the family. Next up is Chris, played by Chris Sullivan. Chris is the father, and the more passive and approachable parent. In the main, he's content to let Rebecca make the big decisions. However, over the course of the film, he begins to assert himself to keep the family together. Sullivan does a good job in this of showing his conflicted feelings throughout, and is really great at being approachable. Next up is Chloe, played by Kalina Liang. Chloe is a teenager that is not afraid of being herself, and the one person in the family that seems most connected to the spirit. She's definitely raw and emotionally fragile, and often caught up in the dysfunction around her. Liang is very impressive, selling the combination of Chloe's private battles and the self-assured face she puts on, and I'm sure that this is the beginning of an absolutely stellar career for her. And finally, Tyler, played by Eddie Madej. Tyler is a high-achieving swim star and comes across as a bit of an attention-seeking, charm-free jock who thinks the world revolves around him. Madej does a decent job with the character and sells the mix of Tyler's problems, and he seems the kind of character that expects applause for his worst behaviour. Now, I loved the acting from Lucy Liu and Chris Sullivan as the parents and Kalina Liang, but the son and his friends just seem to be written one-dimensional in comparison. There are other characters, but this is the core family the film is following. Okay, so let's look at the film's plot and pacing. The film follows a family moving into a new house, and after a short while, one of them starts to sense a presence, and we see the story unfold through the eyes of that presence, which gives the film an unusual perspective. The pacing could make it feel like it's dragging in some places, whilst the family are settling in and the tension's being built, but the film's runtime of 1 hour 24 minutes seems about right to me, as it was short enough to not get boring, but managed to tell the story they wanted to. I was definitely left with questions at the end, but I feel if they had taken the time to tie up all the loose ends, it would have made the film drag. And the questions were nothing to do with the outcome, and more to do with the fact that those plot holes didn't get fleshed out. Okay, so some direction and production notes. Presence is directed by Steven Soderbergh. I haven't seen many of his other films, but I did see Unsettling, which was much better than I expected, and Contagion, I revisited that during the COVID lockdown. And I know he directed the Magic Mike films too, and they did very well, so this doesn't seem his usual genre. And I do find it's always interesting when a director steps out of his normal range, because it often leads to a fresh take, which is very much the case here. I loved the wonderfully built camera work for this film. I had some issues when we were following the ghost on its own, moving around the house. I am sensitive to that kind of movement, but I did get used to it after a while. It didn't spoil the movie at all for me, and that perspective is one of the unique things about this movie, which is shot as a series of 33 hard-cut scenes, each followed by a fade to black, which gives it a very deliberate, almost rhythmic structure. The ending was very well done, and if you didn't guess who the spirit was, now I didn't, but some people were saying it was obvious, it will make you rethink the whole opinion of the film, and you may feel you want to watch it again once you know the reveal to see if it hits differently with that knowledge. So here's how I rate the film. For cinematography and soundtrack, this film gets 4 out of 5. The first-person presence scenes are highly effective. The cinematography and use of camera angles to convey the story are impressive and keep you pulled in. The soundtrack to this was appropriately sparse, being used when they needed to emphasize the emotions of the ghost and to add to the atmosphere. For visual effects and gore, it gets 3 out of 5. I thought the visual effects were absolutely fine, but nothing particularly standout was required, since the story is mostly seen through the spirit's perspective. Most of the atmosphere and tension comes from the cinematography rather than the effects, and there's very little gore in this film. For characters, it gets 3 out of 5. The film is about the family and their odd dynamic. The parents do make an odd couple, and we find very little out about them outside the film's timeline. Lucy Liu and Chris Sullivan put on great performances, and special mention here for Kalina Liang's standout performance, but the lack of character building and background keeps this rating low. For enjoyment and rewatch value, I'm giving the film 4 out of 5. I really think this one stands up for a rewatch, as I know as soon as I saw the ending, I just wanted to watch it again to see if it felt different with that knowledge. The parts of the story deal with difficult topics that some viewers may feel uncomfortable. For personal score, this is a 3.5 out of 5-star film. I originally wasn't interested due to the marketing of the movie, as it was advertised as a really scary movie. And although I really enjoyed it, it wasn't scary or gory, just psychologically unsettling and disturbing, with some really dark moments that can be uncomfortable to watch. I really did enjoy this film, but other than its unique perspective, unusual camera work and ending, the film does feel rather one note. I love the story and the way it unfolded. It was definitely a unique take on the ghost or haunted house story. So that's all for this video. This film isn't for everyone, so I understand the negative reviews, but I do think the marketing is at least partly responsible for that. However, if you enjoy character-focused tension like It Follows, Watcher and The Invisible Man, this is one you need to see. Did you have the same issue I did getting used to the way the camera moved at the beginning? Have you seen Presence? Did you enjoy it as much as I did? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, but remember to be respectful, and remember, this is only my opinion of the film, and it would be a boring old world if we all like the same things. Thanks so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, subscribe and click that bell, so you don't miss what's coming next on this channel. This is Jackie signing off. Take care, and see you next time.